leaders, dreamers, changemakers, welcome to the Vibrant Living Podcast. Here, limitations shatter and potential explodes into a kaleidoscope of possibility. At the helm, Donna Tashjian, life mastery coach and founder of Vibrant Living International, weaves godly wisdom and Christian perspective into every step, empowering you to discover your purpose and light up your world. Here is your host, Donna.
Hello, my Vibrant Living community. This is Donna, back for another amazing episode with a special guest. Today, Alyson and I are going to be talking about a subject that every woman faces at some point, and it is a mystery. It is scary. It is traumatizing sometimes. But we are going to demystify some of that today and clear away some of those cobwebs that arise. Alyson, say hello and introduce yourself a little bit.
Hello, Donna. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here because today we talk menopause. And it has been a 17-year journey for me, and things are still happening that I'm researching. But I am an international best-selling author. I have my first solo book coming out, all about menopause. And I really wanted to help women understand really what the changes that are happening, because it's not a disease. So they don't throw any money at it to research it. And we didn't really talk about it that much. But now people are talking about it. Women are talking about it. Men are saying, hey, I don't understand who my wife is anymore. So we're able to, like you say, demystify some of those things and debunk some of the things too that they seem to think is kind of far out left. But we're here today to talk about all of that, the nutrition and all the fun stuff that goes along with really understanding where you are, and that this should be the best phase of your life, not the worst.
Absolutely. So where do you find yourself in the world? I always love to ask that question.
I am in Northern Ontario, up here in Sault Ste. Marie on the Great Lakes at Lake Superior.
Oh, what a beautiful region. It is so beautiful. Yes.
Very blessed.
And very what?
Very blessed to be here.
Yes, absolutely. So how did you get started in this field?
I got started because at 43, I had an oophorectomy and got thrown into menopause. And an oophorectomy is a hysterectomy where they take out the ovaries as well.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, one day I had hormones, and the next day they were trying to look for their mothership that were gone. So, and right, and I say that because back then nobody could tell me what was going to happen. It was just, you're going to gain weight and you'll probably have hot flashes and night sweats. Every woman does. Don't worry about it. But I owned two gyms. I was a nutritionist and a personal trainer. I'm like, why am I going to gain weight? I've never heard this before. And for about 8 months, I didn't gain any weight. And then all of a sudden, it just started creeping on. And full year one after the surgery, I was up more than 25 pounds. And there was nothing I could do to really stop it. And of course, stress levels go up, gain more weight. It was just became a vicious circle. And to the point where I went back to university, 2018 to 2022, part of my research project was looking at women who have had oophorectomies or hysterectomies before the age of 45, thrown into early menopause or menopause, and what happens to us at 70, because you can get very quick onset dementia. So I wanted to make sure, I'm 61. I don't want to go downhill and in 9 years might end up in a home. I want to know why this is happening. And a lot of it really came around diet and lifestyle and what it is that we do each and every day that we just do mindlessly sometimes because we're told it's healthy.
Yeah. So what are some of the mysteries or myths that you'd like to share about today?
I think one of the biggest ones is that you should just power through it. Every woman goes through it. Well, there's over 300 different symptoms, everywhere from hot flashes, night sweats, a little brain fog, right? Migraines, all the way to urinary tract infections, right? I had to have 2 hips replaced. And they say, well, it could have been part of menopause. Like they don't really understand or know because it's not something, again, they've ever researched. So that's kind of a big one. And then the other one is diet, because there's so many women now on diet or diet pills or shots or whatever. And a lot of the doctors will say, oh, just keep doing what you're doing. Everything will be fine. But you're not changing behavior, right? You're not educating them on what food works, what food doesn't work, and why. And that was a big thing for me. I wanted to know the why. I wanted to know why certain hormones fired or didn't fire. And then when someone just said, oh, you're hormonal. Oh, I thought a hormone was just a hormone. Well, there's what, 21 that you can go through to change things associated with what the food you eat and how you get sleep. And so it's really kind of crazy. And probably one of the biggest myths for women too is they're just supposed to power through.
Yeah.
Right. And we don't talk about the fact that, the aches and pains that come up, the autoimmune diseases you create, the allergies you now have, they're all part of what it is that's changing in your body. And one of the biggest things I didn't even really realize till about 2016 was the fact that women lose their confidence, right? And we lose our confidence because all of a sudden, with the lack of estrogen, we lose some of our filters. And now, if you're, especially executive women, you're trying to go up the ranks, you're trying to start a business, you're trying to do everything. And then all of a sudden, you stand there one day going, I don't want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But for decades, this is what you've been working toward.
Right.
Because nobody ever sat us down and said, what do you really want?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, I went to school, I went to university, I did my grad, my undergrad, my master's, my PhD. Now I have to do this. No, you don't. But
Yeah.
sometimes we go through those motions until we get to menopause, because now we're probably empty nesters. Some of us have been divorced, some are in amazing relationships, but then we don't know how to communicate who we want to be, how we're feeling, what has changed.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that as well. And with that lack of that filter, I had a laugh with a couple the other day because he's like, my wife hates football and she used to love football. And I'm like, okay, where did that come from? And it happened that, she was in the kitchen, she was making sure all the food was done so the guys could come over and have their
Mm-hmm.
football day. And I said, it wasn't that she loved football, she loved you. And now she's realized that that's your day. And now she wants to do something for herself. So that filter's gone and she's trying to be honest with you that she needs some girl time while you have some guy time. So you're going to have to order out. Right? It's just those little changes for them to go, oh, okay. She still loves you, right? She did that because she loves you. And
Mm-hmm.
now she's trying to tell you, look, I really love you, but I'm not going to make your chicken wings on football Sunday, right? So it was an interesting conversation, but
Yeah.
all of that is something we have to kind of recalibrate.
One of the most heard complaint I have, which to me then causes this domino effect in others, is not sleeping. So, what are some of the things that a woman could do to improve her sleep so that then the rest of it does, if you don't sleep, everything else is worse?
It is, absolutely. And part of my 6 phase program is called Calm Her. And it is looking at, what are you doing prior to going to sleep, right? Are you eating too much? Are you eating? I don't eat anything after 6 o'clock. So at least when I go to bed, whether it's 8, 9, or 10, I can sleep. I can fall asleep. And sometimes, yeah, I wake up still at 61. Excuse me. But it's maybe looking at doing a little light yoga or meditation, and definitely, not scrolling. Put your phone down at 7,
Mhm.
right? You may want to watch something on TV or read a book or do something that's going to calm what you're doing down, whether it's having a bath, having a shower, right?
Mhm.
Just sitting in the backyard, absorbing the energy of what's around you, and or praying, right? I do a lot
Mhm.
of praying. I do a lot of, reading scripture
Mhm.
or reading a book that isn't a business book, because I don't want to read something that's going to start moving me into, oh, I need to do this in creative mode.
Yes.
You want to read something that's going to calm you down, and or, pray, meditate. There's a lot of meditations out there on YouTube that,
Yeah.
put your phone away over there, not actually while you're listening. Or just, yeah, have those times where you have that quiet time for you. And that's also self-care. And if you have to, sometimes I have to take more magnesium at night, and that helps me sleep.
Yeah.
And the occasional melatonin if I'm traveling, because of course I'm on the go all the time. So it's looking to see what works best for you, but having that time at least 2 hours before you go to bed, that you turn stuff off, that don't do the screen time, don't do stuff that's going to oversaturate the eyes, the brain, the feeling that you have to think and do and be and create more.
Yeah.
Something that's going to be really good and calming for you.
Those are great advice in any time of season of life, including the younger women as well, because
Yes.
that's great advice. What are some of the other things you've picked up?
A lot of it has to do with exercise as well, because we have to keep our muscles, and women tend to get so busy and we don't put ourselves first a lot of the times. So it's figuring out what can you do, even if it's like 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at lunch, 10 minutes in the evening. If you're doing yoga, or I do like a combination of Tai Chi and Pilates, right? Anyone can do, a crunch or a push up or something. And, taking the stairs, parking a little further away, right? And stop being in such a hurry, because all of that hurriedness tends to raise our cortisol levels even more. And we tend to just have raised cortisol levels to begin with the minute you hit menopause, because there are so many changes in your body that's happening internally. A lot of it doesn't manifest outwardly. So the cortisol levels go up. You may have quick onset anxiety. I remember the first time I woke up in the middle of the night, I'm running around checking to see if my kids are breathing, the windows are locked, the doors are locked, clicking my car door right in the middle of the night, going beep, beep, beep to make sure it's locked, because all of a sudden I didn't know what was happening. And I had this feeling of dread come over me all of a sudden. So it's understanding those can happen too, and then just taking a deep breath and trying to guard your nervous system as much as you can. And then if you have to take that time to pray or meditate during the day as well, that's always great for you at any age.
Yes. One of the biggest things I learned is changing. I don't need tons of aerobics. I need to do something that's I mean, not that we don't need some, but it's like that. We grew up in the generation where there was lots of aerobics. And
Yes.
so learning to be able to do something that's a little bit different, and as far as 10-minute increments or something like that, as opposed to exhausting myself in those kind of exercises. So yes, movement changes everything, and finding ways. I quit calling it exercise and I call it I need to move. I need to move my body. Find ways to move my body and to keep my muscles strong. So I love that. Now you have a whole system set up to help people through this. Could you tell us a little bit about that? And if you have something to offer today.
Absolutely. It is kind of a 6-phase system, because it's called Awaken Her, Calm Her, Balance Her, Embody Her, Express Her, and Lead Her. Because it starts with the Awaken Her, because looking at this, identity that you want. Who are you now going through this? How determined are you to be in the best health for your life now for the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years? Right? Because we can live as long as we want if we do the right things now. But who is that person, right? Do you want to retire at 60, 65? Do you want to own your own business and have fun till you're 80? Like, your choices are now your choices to actually grab onto and embrace. So we're going to work on that. And then, of course, Calm Her looks at the nervous system, looks at sleep, looks at cortisol, looks at what you can do. And we have the resources for you to do that and to figure out what works best for you in those situations. And Balance Her. Balance takes in all the nutrition, all the hormones, all the exercise, like you say, movement. And a lot of women say, yes, no, I'm going to go to the gym. I said, sweetheart, I want you to do something for 10 minutes every day for the first month that you're always going to do. I don't care what it is. You're jumping up and down, walking down the stairs.
Right.
I want you to be consistent. So we look at those type of things to get you to a point where you have that lifestyle that you want, because there's a lot within the nutrition system, which is 80 to 85% of this entire process. in what you eat, what you ingest, what you drink, that causes and wreaks all the havoc inside of your body, which then produces stuff outside. The aches, the pains, the shedding of the hair, the limp hair, right? The whites of your eyes. Like, we want to look at all of those things. And I take you through, what are those hormones and what are the foods. And we do a 21-day elimination diet as well, just so you can see how that works and why, which is huge. And then Embody Her. Embody Her is about the confidence. It's about the energetics again. It is about coming back to who you are with life. And we also talk sensuality, because a lot of times you're going through it when you lose estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, right? All those sex organs in a woman tend to stop working. So the testosterone goes away and they're like, yeah, I don't need sex. Well, it's a big part of our life. And the men in our life go, you what? Like, what am I supposed to do now? So you can still be sexy and sensual. And I help you get your sexy back, however you define that for yourself.
Right.
It's not about what anyone else thinks. It's about what you think and what that brings to you, so you feel alive and well and happy and joyous through this entire journey and the next phase of it, right? And Express Her then speaks to your truth and power, right? Who do you want to be now? Well, you've identified who you are. We have kind of crafted exactly what that life's going to look like. You're eating the right food. You're feeling energized. You're happy in a relationship. What does that look like? And how are you going to express her in relationships and careers and businesses, and how you want to do that? And then Lead Her finishes it off to say, what's next for you, right? You lead yourself. You're in that leadership role. So how do you want to continue? Who do you want to continue as? And you can continue in our community to stay there and get support past that. It's not just we cut you off and see you later, right? Because it is that camaraderie, collaboration that goes together to say, okay, now that we've helped you really look at every area that has significance and importance in your life, where do you want to go from there?
Yeah, that's beautiful. And what gift would you like to give today?
I'd love to give a free soul session, I call it. It is at yourfreesoulsession.com. And it's a free chat. It's 20 minutes long, just to, am I in menopause? Am I not? I've spoken to 20-year-olds today to say, maybe you want to tweak your diet for what you're doing, because once you start to hit perimenopause, you're going to feel it and you'll have more energy going along. And then women in their 70s to say, yeah, I need energy. What do I need to do? So that call is for all women. And if you are a guy and want to set up a call because you don't know what's going on with your wife, by all means.
Do that too.
Book the call. Absolutely.
It is, unfortunately, in the past, it wasn't something that was talked about. And so I love that you're bringing and shedding the light on something that is actually natural and supposed to happen and helping us to do it with grace and ease, as I always say. Thank you, Alyson, so much for shining the light and for all that you're doing. I'm so happy that you're part of my circle.
Well, and thank you, Donna. It was great meeting you and great being on Vibrant Living. And thank you to everyone watching. I'm honored.
This is such an important topic. So I hope you take Alyson's gift and schedule a time to talk with her so that we can be vibrant and powerful women accomplishing the dreams in our heart. As always, I am here for a wisdom consultation. I'll put that link wherever you find me sharing this. And also a free guide that I have, Renew, Recharge, and Thrive. So blessings to you today. Who do you know that needs to hear this? Feel free to share it with someone that you love. Until next time, this is Donna wishing you many blessings. Bye for now.
I hope your soul feels ignited, your spirit nourished, and your mind buzzing with possibilities. Share this with a friend who needs a dose of vibrant living. Tag us on #Vibrant Living Podcast and tell us your biggest takeaway. For more support, clarity, and wisdom, visit Donna at iVibrantLiving.com. See you soon.